This is a day that the Lord made. I want to say thank you all for joining us today for the Black News Network presentation of Breaking Bad Habits. But before we dive into the subject matter, I'd like to say the people in Houston are going through a lot of hell right now. It's a really sad situation with the water going on down there. It's flooding. So please look up and say a prayer for all your friends and family that may be out in Houston with certain things going on. So we really want to make sure that we try and do something for those people over there, especially if they need our help. So look out for the people in Houston. Shalom, shalom. This is the Black News Network, the real voice of Black USA, broadcasting live from a Black perspective. We do not own the rights to the music, but we do own the rights to what we say. I am Brother War Smith Bay, your host today, and we will be discussing breaking bad habits. Bad habits comes from many, many different forms. And it is so imperative that we recognize these forms because we go through life every single day doing things that we regret after we do them. And then it's just too late after you do it and then you regret it. And it comes from eating disorders, eating excessively, eating everything on your plate, cleaning your plate. Some of these things come from traditions. Some of these habits that we have come from who knows what, but they are habits that we should look at trying to break because it's not going to help you live the best life you can live. And that's what it's basically all about. We want to live the best life we can live. And in order to live that best life, we have to be basically bring in those things that we've been good at for a long damn time. I mean, in our younger days, there was nothing to stop us from eating 40 20 pack chicken wing dinner or cleaning our plates or doing all these different things that did not affect us one way or another. We get up the next day and get out there and we do our running or we do whatever we want to do and we wouldn't feel a thing. But as you grow older, now your body tends to change and slow down on different processes. And that process can affect your liver, your lungs, your kidneys, your heart, all of these, your eyesight. All these different things are the results of a problem that we may have that we have not really addressed. So committing to a personal or professional goal is what we will have to do. And we'll have to do that for at least 21 days. And I'm going to give you what the overall program is about. Basically, I'm going to tell you what we're going to talk about, and then we're going to talk about it. And then we're going to talk about what we talked about. So you have to, if you want to change something that you've been doing all your entire life, and you think it's time for you to change based on your body perspective, it's going to take you 21 days of abstinence from that particular item. Now, that could be just about any single thing you can think of. And I don't want to go into detail just yet of particular. Will. Those things that we happen to take or happen to digest will take us at least 21 days to digest or to get out of our system. Like I said, it can be eating, drinking, driving, language, medication. It could be just about anything. Um, After those 21 straight days, which is basically 3 weeks that we'll have to go through this process, the pursuit of that goal should become a habit. Now, listen to the words I just said. The pursuit of that goal should become a habit. And the habit we're talking about is the commitment to the 21 days that you have abstained from that particular habit that you have indulged in all your entire life. So the 21 straight days is now the habit that you have formed on a particular item. Now, once you've established that habit, uh, you have to continue to do it for another 90 days. And that and only that will make sure that you have solidified yourself in changing that particular habit. If you can keep it up for the 3 weeks and do that 21 days and make it become a habit, then the 90 days should not be that hard to do. But 21 days is the part where they put you in there and detox yourself. You detoxing yourself. But before I go any further with that, I want to just say one more thing, and then I want to introduce my co-host. Um, Once you've done that 90 days, it should become a permanent lifestyle change. And that's what you're seeking out of this entire thing, a permanent lifestyle change. Our co-host today in this discussion is going to be Mr. Chuck Slaughter. He just entered the room, and so now he's available for your comments and any questions that you may have. You can either type your questions in on either Facebook or any other the social media platforms, or you can call in. I don't even have my phone. I don't know where it's at. I put it somewhere. I usually lose it by the time I get to this show. But your best thing to do is probably type it in. So with that, Mr. Chuck Slaughter, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How about you hearing me?
I hear you well. Would you like to do a opening comment before we proceed into how to change these bad habits?
Well, my only comment would be yes, we do have some bad habits, and yes, we do need to think about how we're going to change them, identify what they are, and change them. Now, if that's a personal bad habit or a cultural bad habit.
Hmm. Okay. Those are two items we will pursue. I mean, we can talk about both. But first, let's talk about our personal habits. So, in order, let's pick a particular habit. Let's look at gambling, for instance. If I'm an avid gambler, every day when I'm on my way back home, I stop by the Diamond Shamrock or the Valero, wherever they sell the lotto tickets, where you can pay $10 and you can get them to print out your numbers. You want to do that on Wednesdays or before they do the Wednesday drawing, so you can see if you hit. Now, I've heard of some people spending well over $50 to $100 a week on that process. I mean, they want to make sure they're available for the Wednesday, and they want to make sure that they're available for the Saturday drawing. And 9 times out of 10, you're not going to win. So, in order to deal with that particular process, first of all, you have to realize that the number one thing that you're having right now, the number one problem that you're having is that you are not prepared mentally to change this particular habit. So, what is the first step? The first step in changing a bad habit or correcting a bad habit is identifying in your own mind that, man, I'm spending too much damn money going to these lottos, and I'm spending too much money on these lottos. I need to figure out a way to change that particular habit. Now, some people know it better than others on how to change that particular habit, but the best thing you have to do initially is to prepare yourself mentally. Now, I don't know what nobody's situation is, but I do know what my situation is. And I do know that if you wanted to change a gambling habit, the first thing you have to do is mentally say, I need to change that particular habit. So many people have decided to go down that road and spend their money on gambling, on slot machines, and gambling on lotto tickets and gambling on betting on any damn thing, and even poker. I mean, I love some poker. I mean, I've lost some money there too. And as long as I didn't make it a habit, I'm good. I have friends that carry $10,000, $15,000 in their pocket just to go play damn poker. How crazy is that? That's some crazy shit. So what I would like to do is try and talk about some of the stories of some of the people that may want to reveal their particular story and tell us how they dealt with gambling.
Turn it down, I guess, to
Now,
about.
it's not that easy to bring that particular issue to the program. So if you have something that you are in, you know about gambling, there's no reason why you don't have to bring that up. You can just jump in when you want to and say what you know about a particular habit. But if you can identify what your initial problem is, if you can identify why you are an avid gambler, then you have started the process to changing that bad habit. Now, bad habits, like I said, can be anywhere from eating. Now, I love to eat, and my traditions were every Thanksgiving, everybody in the house need to gain at least 10 more pounds. And at 200 and some pounds, I mean, that's kind of heavy for me when I'm thinking, let's say 25 years ago, I was what, let's say 150 pounds. And every single Thanksgiving, I would go home. And when I went home to eat dinner, I would gain 10 pounds. And I'd come back and then I'd go to work and I'd lose that 10 pounds right back off, get right back down to my regular weight. But as the years went on, I would go home and think I could eat the exact same weight and gain those 10 pounds and then come back and lose those 10 pounds, then that 10 pounds became like a sledgehammer or a damn anchor around my damn belly where I could not get rid of. Because no matter what I did, no matter how hard I worked, and I'm not gonna work as hard as I was working years ago. So I'm not able to lose that weight. So now I got to figure out what I need to do to fix this issue where I'm not gaining 10 pounds every year. The years keep going by. And if I'm gaining 10 more pounds every single year, by the time 20 years pass, I'm at 300 goddamn pounds or something. I didn't gain too much weight. So it's very important that I realize how I'm my body is responding to the food I'm consuming. Same thing. You got to realize how your pocket or how your lifestyle is responding to the habit that you have. And if it's gambling or if it's food, those are the two that's on the table right now. As long as I prepare myself mentally, I'm on the right track. I know that I have to be honest with myself and say, hey, I can't do this anymore because the more I do it, the worse condition I get in. Then I need to change that trajectory because I don't want to keep getting bigger, 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 bigger by the year because I know it's going to be harder, harder, harder for me to change that trajectory. And if I don't make that decision, who's going to make it for me? I don't know who's going to make it for me. If nobody can tell me when it's going to be, when I need to do it, and I'm the only one in control of it, then I got a problem. And I'm going to have to decide how I'm going to deal with that problem. So I got to be honest with myself, like I said, and I got to identify that I do have a problem. Once I've identified that I got a problem, once I've been honest with myself, now I got to figure out why I have this problem. Was it because somebody else was doing it? Was it because peer pressure? Was it because it's a family tradition? Was it because it's hereditary? Was it I'm a crack baby or what? I'm just using anything I can think of. You don't know what the problem can be all the time. And sometimes you'll never figure out why you have a particular issue or concern, but you're intelligent enough to know that something's not right here. And you have to take your time about figuring out the process to change it. So you're preparing yourself mentally with yourself and your own body metabolism and how you operate and your mentality. And now you're figuring out why you got this problem. Now let's go back to I like talking about food more than anything else because I know food more than anything else. If I grew up, every year we cook ham hocks, we cook neck bones, we cook chitlins. Some people say chitlins. I say chitlins instead of chitterlings. So we cook chitlins. We cook collard greens. We cooked candy yams, potato pies, cakes, and banana pudding. And I'm sitting here, I'm just gluttoning myself to damn death. I'm eating out of every pot. I'm getting this fat ass ham hock with, what a ham hock look like. It's got that dark meat around the outside, fat meat on the inside, a little bit of ham close to the bone, and you drench that in hot sauce, and then you eat the fat meat. Even some of it's got hair on it. So I grew up in this environment. I even grew up eating chicken feet. So, you know, I know that these foods are considered what they call soul food, right? And soul food is nothing wrong with soul food as long as it's in moderation. And the reason we eat soul food is because at one particular time in our culture, in our history, we had no choice but to eat what was left of the hog or whatever else that was thrown out with the dishwater. We could eat what was left, and we took those scraps and we turned those scraps into things that people love today in 2024. But in the 1850s, in the 1860s, we had to eat that kind of stuff because if we didn't eat that, we were going to perish quicker than some of us did perish. That kind of stuff was a necessity back in the 1800s. It was required to eat this if you intended to survive because you were not going to survive off anything better. I mean, if you got something better, you probably worked in the house with Mr. Billy or somebody. But to eat this kind of stuff in 2024, you have to ask yourself, why do I eat this now? Why do I eat chitlins now? Now, ain't nothing like a good bowl of chitlins, but there had been years before I had eaten some chitlins. And last year I ate a spoonful of chitlins with dashed in hot sauce. And I was sick for 3 days. So it took me an ailment for me to realize that my body no longer can consume certain things, regardless of if it's a tradition or if it's only the only foods we can afford, whatever the case may be. There's no need for me to have to eat this again. I mean, I don't have to eat chitlins anymore. I don't have to eat pig knuckles anymore, ham hocks. I don't have to eat these things anymore. So I'm not saying anything is wrong with anybody eating chitlins or anybody eating ham hocks. No, it's your choice. You eat what the hell you want to eat. But what I'm saying is those items are descended foods that came from traditions that we no longer have to honor. And food, what's the connection with food and black people? We don't have to honor that chitlin eating situation anymore. Chitlin cleaning, chitlin eating, house smelling like shit all day. We don't have to honor that type of tradition unless you really, really, really want to. And it's by choice. But all I'm saying is, what is the value added to your life right now? And if you can tell me what the value is for eating this kind of stuff, then please, by all means, come on in and talk about it. Because there is no reason why we should have to eat that kind of food in this day and time. We used to eat it, it's a long time from it, and we don't have to eat it anymore. That is all I'm saying when it comes to soul food. It's still certain things I love that we used to make back then. They didn't realize the value of a sweet potato until we started making sweet potato pies. And I mean, I still eat sweet potatoes. I still eat sweet potato pies. There are so many dishes that we coined and made to our liking that ain't no way we're going to get rid of them. But there are certain things that was in our diet back then we could eat and keep it moving. But the only thing that I want you to realize right now, at this particular time, this is 2024, is that pork, the chitlins that you get today, they are 180 degrees different than the chitlins you got back then. Back then, the chitlins you ate was based on a hog that you raised, was based on a situation where there were no antibiotics, there were no chemicals, there was no rapid growth hormones placed into these animals. There was no genetically modified organisms placed into the growth of these animals that you had to contend with back in the 1800s. Now, if you are eating the same things that you were eating back at our families were eating back in the 1800s, you're eating all those antibiotics, you're eating all that GMO material, you're eating all of that rapid growth stuff, the hormones, and it's going into your body and it's getting into your cells, and it eventually gets into your DNA where you are starting to think that this is what you need to eat. You don't have to eat that. And I mean, when there's two ways you can look at it. You're either gonna eat to live or you're gonna live to eat. Which one is it? And right now, many of us, 8 out of 10 of us, we are living to eat. And don't let me keep you from jumping in there, Chuck. If you got something to say, because I'm definitely talking about what we grew up eating. Say what you got to say whenever you're ready. I mean, I don't believe we have to continue to go down that road that kill us. We suffer from diabetes. We suffer from obesity. We suffer from high blood pressure. And these items, and we suffer from cancer, liver cancer, lung cancer, heart attacks, strokes. We suffer from all these things. In our culture, we are at the top of the list on every one of those little items, those big items I just mentioned. And what do you think gonna happen when you go to the doctor? They're gonna promise you all these miracle treatments and drugs that's gonna prolong your life. But if you start now, while you still have that you're following when it comes to food consumption, then you can prevent some of the things that some of our people are contending with. I mean, how many people that you see in our culture are obese right now? If you look at a group of people that and you look at them 25, 30 years ago, and you see a picture of them, for instance, your high school class, everybody's thin, everybody's active, maybe one or two may be a little overweight, but you're going to see a group of people that are marginally in good condition. But now, if you look at those same group of people, 9 out of 10 of those people gonna be overweight. 9 out of 10 of those people gonna either have diabetes, they call it sugar, and they're gonna have one of these damn problems that we suffer from. I want to live until the damn cows come home, and the cows ain't never coming home. And in order for me to do that, I got to make some conscious decisions about how I'm going to do that. And if I continue to do the norm, what I've been trained to do, what's in my genetic heritage and my ancestry did, I am not going to make it. Before we start eating chitlins and all that other shit, we did have particular diets. I have yet to see, there's a culture in Africa that's fat, but I have yet to see the majority of African culture that was fat. None of the slaves that they put on the ship were fat. They didn't bring fat slaves to the United States. So all I'm saying is it's something that occurred since we've been here. And we have to figure out why it's occurring. And that's been our issue for the longest. I mean, we got to prepare ourselves mentally, like I said. We got to be honest with ourselves. And then we have to figure out why we're doing it. And then one of the other key catapults is we got to avoid the tempting situations. Now, we already know that when these holidays come up, like the 4th of July, we're going to barbecue hamburgers. We're going to barbecue ribs. We're going to cook all kind of meat and shit on the grill, and we're gonna eat it because it's good. And I agree, it's good. I ain't got no damn question about it. That food coming off that grill is good. So let's eat it. But the bottom line is the meat is a different quality of meat that you may have grown up with. And that's where you got to realize it. It ain't the same. It is not the same. And this is something that you may or may not know. And I'm gonna put it out there because it's just a conversation. Back in the 80s, you can get a nickel bag of weed and get 5 joints out of it. Today, ain't no such thing. Just like if you can ask some of the younger people today, what are the yellow pages? Nobody damn know what the yellow pages are. You can tell somebody to go get a can opener. They don't know what the hell a can opener is. Little bitty things like that change. So because these things have changed, why are we trying to stay the same? I'm not saying our ancestry should be forgotten. Not no way, not 100. I don't believe in that. What I believe in is that we have to make wiser decisions about what we do with this hunk of meat that we own. We own it, and it's our responsibility to make it last as long as it can. It's just like buying an old beat up car. You got to treat that car a certain way, or that car not gonna last. That's the way it works. That car ain't gonna last unless you taking some care of it.
Yeah, you're right, brother, man. You're right. You're right. Let me give you a break there. You're running the show. You got the lead. And that you're talking about habits, and I'm listening to you real close, and I'm thinking to myself, there are certain habits that we can control and certain habits that we can't control.
Mm-hmm.
And the ones that you're talking about on the personal level, like that, they're all personal habits. Mm-hmm. You got good habits, bad habits, and habits in between. Mm-hmm. And the habits that you're kind of talking about is in between. Mm-hmm. Now, I eat chitlins as a tradition because it is what our ancestors had to survive on. And if they didn't have that to survive on, I wouldn't be here today. So yes, the food has changed, and there are some chemicals in it, and they're not only in pork, but in beef and lamb and everything else that they use to preserve the food with. Okay, but with the pork, the thing with the pork is we learned at a real young age before they even started processing it, because we made it so popular that the corporation started, well, hell, let's clean these children up and add a little bit more money to them, because we used to get them for 25 cents a foot tub full. That's when they still had all the feces in them and all that kind of stuff. You had to boil them and clean them. It was stinky. But they don't do that today. Okay, so I eat them once a year. They taste good. Give me some greens and yams and chitlins and cornbread, crackling cornbread at that, made out of pork. And I'm happy. But that's just once a year, because I do believe that pork contribute to your health in a negative way. High blood pressure is one of them. Back in the day, you eat some chitlins and go out in the hot sun, you would have a stroke. I experienced that a couple of years ago. I messed around here, going to eat some chitlins in the summertime, and boy, the top of my head just got a pain. I said, oh no, I ain't gonna never do it again. I knew better. So the things that we know better, we need to stop doing them. Mm-hmm. And there's some things that, yeah, we can do them. Like right now, the country is, you talked about marijuana a few minutes ago. Okay, right now the country is trying to figure out how we can make money, keep this money coming in at the same time, keep this stuff illegal so we can make more money. I don't know. But marijuana is not an addictive drug. It's a habit. But it's a habit that is just as difficult to stop as it is to stop eating improper. But that's something that you as a person has to want to do to benefit yourself, to improve yourself. Mm-hmm. You see, so when I just do the chitlins once a year, and that's on New Year's, and when it's cold, don't mess with them after that. And pork, and when you do some pork chops, don't eat too many of them. But pork, there's a worm. When I was in school, when we were in nursing school, we talked about, I can't think of the name of it, but there's the worm in pork. You have to cook pork You have to cook pork really well to kill that worm in it. Hold on, I gotta take this call. Claude's calling me.
Yeah, no problem, Chuck. All
Hey,
right, that is all good that that Chuck brought this information up, but this is where it goes. To me, you have to know where your food is prepared. There are people in America right now, black people with farms, with pig farms, and they raise their own hogs and create their own bacon, their own sausage, their own particular meats off of hog. So what I would suggest each and every one of you do is go to living off the land, and if you go to living off the land, what you'll find out is that these black people are making all this meat out of pork, and they're eating it, and they're just as the meat is just as good as it can be because they don't have all the antibiotics that you get from commercial pork. I mean, it is so bad right now that you're getting out of these stores what they call made pork chop, made beef. They can put meat together in certain way. They can even make chicken. They put it together in certain ways, and they put a particular type of white powder on it and form it in the position they want it to be in. And come back the next day, you got T-bone steak or you got sirloin. You got whatever they want it to be. So all I'm trying to get to with our people is that these items that we're getting in the store is not what you think they are. They're like the chicken out of Walmart or the hamburger meat. Your hamburger meat out of Walmart can come from 25 different cows. Now, how are you like right now? They got a recall on hamburger meat from Walmart if you didn't know. So, how can you decide where, what is that you're really eating if you're only eating mixed meat? If you're eating, even if you're eating chicken, you don't know how long it took that chicken to grow. There's a plant going out of Rigsby in San Antonio. If you go down to that chicken plant and saw what they did to those chickens, saw how they bring those chickens in there, you would never eat chicken again. Same if you go to a cow slaughterhouse, you would never eat beef again because the way they treat these animals, animals are under stress too. When they know the hog in front of them just got their throat cut and they next, then what do you think that hog is doing? The hormones and the stress and the feelings that these animals have is growing exponentially, and it's causing the body to react differently when they go to a slaughter. Why do they tell you you always want to drain the blood out of an animal really quickly when you kill it? They tell you that because that blood causes the meat to change from its natural state when you kill that animal. So the first thing anybody does when they kill something out in the wild, they drain the blood. That's what they do. They get all the interior entrails and everything else out of that animal, so that animal won't contaminate the meat. Same with these javelina hogs. When you kill a javelina hog, the first thing you got to do is clean the entrails because if you don't, the meat is tainted and nobody wants to eat that meat. You have to change that. So we are eating now what the industry, the big time, the dollar making industry is putting out there for us to eat. And if we continue to buy, you can get 10 pork chops for $10 or less. Why would you keep buying the cheapest meat on you looking for the cheapest pack of meat on the shelf when you go to the grocery store? Because you want to save money on providing groceries to your family. But what you're doing is you're getting doing exactly what they want you to do. You're buying the lowest grade of meat you can possibly get, and you're taking it home and you're feeding it to your family as if you don't love them anymore. Why would you keep feeding your family food like you don't love them? Because that food is dangerous to the health of your children. I mean, you're responsible for what they eat in your house. And if you're responsible for what they eat in your house, why would you continue to feed them things that's going to cause them health issues once they grow up to be somebody? All right, all the other additional hosts is here. We're doing it. Claude,
Okay, I got it.
we did talk about your situation in Houston. I know right now you're going through it, through maybe not you, but the people out there in Houston have a big situation with water, and you have to deal with that in some kind of way as well. I'm sure our prayers go out to you and your family and anybody that may be suffering from the weather out there in Houston, Texas. But we've covered preparing yourself mentally on and on breaking bad habits. Be honest with yourself, and then you have to figure out why you're having these particular situations. And then the most important one in any individual, like me and Chuck was talking about a second ago, the most important thing for an individual is to avoid tempting situations. We know on Thanksgiving there's 10 pounds on the table somewhere that's supposed to be for me. And everybody got their own little thing. But I know I'm gaining 10 pounds if I go home and eat like I've always eaten. But I got to change that because it's harder and harder every single year to lose those 10 pounds. So no, I'm not going to go out and gain those 10 pounds because I know I'm not going to be able to lose them anymore. But it took years for me to learn that 10 pound plus 10 pound plus 10 pound more. Each year I'm gaining 10 pounds and I never could learn that I don't need to do that anymore. I learned and now I stopped doing it. And so that made me a lot healthier because I had to learn the hard way. I mean, I said something earlier in the presentation that said, this class is about eating, drinking, driving, language, medication, gambling, whatever your habit may be. And again, it's a commitment that you have to do for 21 days if you intend to change it. And after that 21 days, the pursuit of that goal should become a new habit for you, is pursuing the goal of changing the problem that you're encountering that you want to change. But that's not all. After you do that 21 days, you're going to have to continue that new habit that you just formed for an additional, 90 days total in order for you to actually break that habit. It's going to take that long for you to break a particular habit. 3 months. Don't think just because you maintain it for 21 days that it's over, because it'll be right back on you. Do it for 90 days. But the 21 days is the start. And then you just have to be honest with yourself. You have to prepare yourself mentally. And you got to figure out why you do this. And then you got to avoid tempting situations like going home every year to our families. But even at home, it's different because they are raising their own chickens. They're raising their own hogs. And it's not the contaminant stuff you can get from Walmart. You don't know where that shit's coming from. You don't know where. HEB is pretty local, but they still get meat from every damn where. Yeah, like I was telling somebody earlier, your hamburger meat might have 25 different cows, pieces from 25 more, even more cows in that meat. And Walmart just had a recall on hamburger meat, by the way, if you any meat there. So, Claude, with knowing where we are in the process right now, the next step would be give yourself some time to change the way we are and what we eat. What would be your understanding or opening or concept about breaking bad habits?
Well, I can barely hear. Can you hear me?
I can hear you well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why I can barely hear you, but I think what I heard you say is, but how can we break bad habits?
Yes, that is what I see.
I think we have to. I think we have to continue to educate ourselves and change our mind, body, and soul
Hmm.
in terms of how we look at nutrition, how we look at the foods we eat, why do we eat what we eat, knowing our history and knowing how those foods were introduced into our culture. I
Hmm.
think it's an ongoing process, but I think part of what you've been trying to do is educate the mind, and once you get the mind re-educated, you'll change the body and the soul.
Hmm.
So I think that's what we have to continue to try to do. It's an expensive process. I know your journey has been an expensive process. Knowledge for the everyday person is an expensive endeavor to unshackle what we've been taught and what we've been introduced to. It's a very expensive journey. And what concerns me is that whether it's good nutrition or knowledge, most African Americans are not in position to gain neither. And so I think that's how we get there, though. I think we get there through knowledge and a greater understanding of who we are, our soul. And I think that will have an impact on how we view the nutritious aspects of our being.
Hmm. Okay. I mean, that is such a interesting point of view when it comes to what we eat and consume in America. I mean, it's a nutritional fact that we don't eat what we should eat, and it's up to us to get beyond those temptation aisles. When we go to the store, you look to your left, you're on the checkout lane, right? You look to your left, you see a bunch of things that I used to love when I was younger. On the right, the same thing. But what is it there for? It's there for you to consume because they know you got cravings for these particular items. Man, I could just grab the whole box of sneaker bars and take them home and just eat sneaker bars all damn day. I have a family member who I told over and over and over again to stop eating candy every dang day. Now, my relative is now suffering from kidney problems, and he has to do dialysis. And to avoid, if he had just listened a little bit, maybe he wouldn't be in this situation right now. And that's why I'm out here preaching and spreading the word about what we're doing to kill our bodies off. We don't need to be killing ourselves like this. And that's what we're doing. They want us, our numbers, to die anyway. So why are we assisting them with consuming these products that we know are bad for us? And it's not only about food. Now, don't get me wrong. We might have a bad habit of using profanity. We might have a bad habit of gambling, buying lottery tickets, or buying slot, going to the casinos. And
Brother Bay, part of the problem that I think we have in terms of our people is, we can tell them it's like a doctor tells you something's wrong with you but doesn't subscribe any medicine.
mm,
We know what the problem is, but how do we provide the resources to allow the people that we're trying to reach
mhm.
to do the things that they need to do? I mean, if we want to, like your journey as a Moor, that was an expensive journey.
Yes, it was.
You didn't get to be a Moor cheaply.
No.
Just to learn about Moorism and learn about that particular aspect of our existence, it's an expensive journey. Whether you want to get there by travel, get there by reading, it's an expensive journey. If you want somebody to be healthy and eat healthy, when our communities are saturated with dollar stores and secondhand food stores and stuff, without the income for them to eat healthier or grow their own food, how do they get there? And like I say, it's like a doctor telling you you're sick,
I'm
but
gonna tell you.
not subscribing any medicine to cure you.
Let me see if I can explain that concern. We have to take control of our own destiny. And the reason I'm saying that is, why would they not put liquor stores on every corner if they have the resources to do it? It is us, the individuals, who have to experience the power, the willpower not to go in that liquor store. Even though I love me some cognac and coke, I don't have to go in that liquor store and buy cognac and Coke before I get home every day. It is our exercising our willpower. And the purpose of understanding breaking bad habits is to identify that there is a problem with me drinking liquor. So because I know that there's a problem with me drinking liquor, I gotta know that I don't need to be around places that offer liquor for me to drink. I don't need to go in liquor stores because I know I'm gonna spend my money on as much liquor as I can. It's about self. We
Right.
talk about building the community. We cannot build a community without building ourselves first. If we got a trunk load of bad habits that we deal with every day, we have to deal with those bad habits before we can go and deal with the community bad habits. If you ain't never been married, how you gonna offer marital counseling to a associate that's having marital problems? You can't. So you have to go through it.
It's trying to explain to people that we are all descendants of
Mm-hmm.
who was the guy on the ship?
Amistad.
No, on the ship. In the beginning, God created, and He destroyed the world, but He left Moses. Who was
Moses?
No, who was it on the boat?
Noah.
Noah had how many sons?
2 sons.
3 sons.
Was it 2? I thought it was 2.
It was 3. And we are all descendants of those 3 sons.
Mm-hmm.
We're descendants of Ham, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're descendants. The world was created from those people on that ship, on that boat.
Right.
That's the world's creation. But trying to get people to understand that, like your journey, trying to get people to understand your journey and where we came from and where we started from. I'm just saying that how do we get people to and this is good, what you said about eating, drinking, driving, language, medication, commit a personal or professional goal for 21 straight days. It's possible. It's possible.
What I'm saying is, Claude, it's all on the individual. The only thing we can do as community leaders or community communicators is to provide the resources for them to make the adjustment. So
but you can't provide resources
right now is to put this information out about how to break a bad habit. And if it's not my responsibility or yours or Chuck's or nobody's to go out and grab everybody by the hand and say, this is what you will do. It's that individual's responsibility.
But I hear what you're saying. You're saying it's not your responsibility, but you're overlooking. I just think that we're overlooking not so much the individual responsibility. I think you're overlooking the reality of the world, of our existence in the world.
Mm.
Yeah,
I'm gonna address that, but Chuck had something to say too. So go ahead, Chuck.
Yeah, I was just gonna jump back on this here, maybe go back a little bit. What you were talking about this here, weight gain and weight loss. I dealt with that for quite a while. Every winter, I pick up about 10 pounds. And in the summertime, springtime, I lose them on the yo-yo thing. Okay. Basically, what it boils down to, you said a few minutes ago, it's about discipline and self-respect and want to change yourself. You don't want to change yourself. You ain't going to change for yourself. When we come to policies and issues and things that we can do as activists, community leaders and stuff like that, we can probably do something that hopefully can change the culture. But trying to change individuals is difficult. They have to experience, they have to hit rock bottom before they say, well, I got to change. I can't have this no more. I don't want to do this anymore. And they have to hit rock bottom. Sometimes when they hit rock bottom, it's just too late for them anyway. But discipline is the key to having a healthy life, both mentally and physically. Discipline is the key, and I think that's something they have to do on an individual basis. I know I had a problem. I used to love to hit the nightclubs, Friday, Saturday, and maybe even on Sunday. And I realized this is costing me between $150 to $200 a week just to go out and party and socialize with my friends. I said, I can't do that. And then I said it's because it was hurting my family. So I had to stop it. I stopped it. I grew out of it, I guess. That was when I was younger. Mm-hmm. I was a young buck out there, So I had to grow out of it. A lot of habits you grow out of.
Mm-hmm. You want to respond to that, or you want me to go? I got it. You and I. Go ahead.
No, I would just.
Well,
no, go ahead. No, go ahead.
You said I'm going to respond to both of y'all comments. First, I'm going to do what you said, Claude. You said our existence in the world is the result of what we are right now. So what I'm saying to that is you're absolutely 100% correct. And once we realize we're the results of our existence in this world, it's our responsibility to make a gallant effort to do what we need to do to prolong our lives. So if we eat a candy bar 2-3 times a day and we're getting older every single day, we ought to know by now at this age that we are creating a situation within our bodies that may not come to the surface, will develop way before you having a pimple on your face or anywhere else. You don't know it. Like cancer. Cancer goes through stage 1, 2, 3, and 4. You might get to stage 1 or stage 2 before you even know it. Even some people get to stage 4 before they know it. So
what I'm saying to you though is
early on in your life, changing the bad habits that you may have grown into.
And I guess what I'm saying to you is, can most people afford that?
What is it to afford if you gonna turn back a plate of chitlins and say, I'm just gonna eat some corn on the cob? If you turn back ham hocks and say, I'm just gonna eat the collard greens with a smoked turkey neck, turkey neck, or something like that. You have changed. You used to cook your collard greens with ham hocks, and now and yams or whatever. Well, ham hocks and I forget what they even call that stuff. Hog maws. Now you cook your collard greens with smoked turkey necks. You have changed a process, and you've changed that process because it may not be 100% healthier, but it's a lot healthier than all that fat that's gonna come out of that ham hock. So you don't have to be wealthy to try and eat properly, and that don't mean you're gonna always eat properly. What that means is you have a conscious effort to eat properly. And sometimes you may have to eat dirt. You may have to eat the feet off a pig. You don't know. But whatever it is you have to do, you're going to have to do it if you plan to be around to enjoy your later years. Because if you don't change, the consequences is knowing if you do not change what you're going to encounter when you reach our age. Because you are going to not be able to reverse those things that you have created in your body. You can't reverse them. If you know now at 25 or 30 that when you can change it now, and it won't allow you to be in this condition when you get 60. That ain't 100% guaranteed, but more than likely it won't be because you ate ham hocks all your damn life, or it won't be because you ate chitlins every damn day or every weekend, or you ate steak every other day. It won't be because of that, because you pull back, you recognize, you prepared yourself mentally, You being honest with yourself, and you figured out why you eat this every single day, even if you got the money or you don't. You eating it every day. Now you got to avoid certain tempting situations, going to everybody's party.
I'm on the phone, boo.
Be cooking on the grill. Everybody gonna be offering you a drink. Everybody gonna be giving you all this stuff. So you gotta give yourself some time. How many times have people offered you food and you said, "No, I'm good," and then they said, "Come on, man, eat this, eat it, eat it, eat it," and you said, "All right, I'll eat it," and then you took a bite, and you took another bite, and you took another bite. Say hi to that young lady back there. You want to go ahead and do that? Go ahead, bring on the.
Oh no. She just got back.
All right, good. Well, anyways, you got to give yourself time. You got to set goals and create a plan, and you got to put limits to what you are going to accept or what you're going to do and what you're not going to do. I know if I stop to get gas, ain't no damn way I'm not going in here and get me a damn
Yeah, it is. This one.
huh?
You don't let people tell you to do something you don't want to do. And they're like, come on, man, what did I tell you? I don't want it. They need to let it alone. They're trying to encourage you to do it. Is
You can do that, but how many times we do? A lot of times we don't want to offend other people. We want to try just a little bit, just because, right?
No, I guess I was just looking at it from a more broad.
Beautiful.
You're looking at an individual. I was looking at it from a more broader perspective.
We need to discuss that. Go ahead.
You know, no. I was just looking at it from a broader societal perspective rather than an individual perspective. And what you laid out is our individual responsibility.
Yes,
You're
right.
exactly right.
No, you got to be yourself in order to build a community. If you can't go into there and you ain't right trying to build everything, and you don't know how. You don't even know how to fix yourself. You got to learn how to fix yourself first. That's everything. This is the temple that God's talking about. The temple within. If you can't build this temple, you damn sure ain't gonna build that temple out there. That's what my point is. So learn how to do these things, how to change what we've been taught that's bad for us. We know what's wrong. We know what's right, but we do it anyway because this is what we enjoy doing. We enjoy gluttoning and eating a damn whole big ass bowl of damn whatever ramen noodles. We know ramen noodles messes up our inside, but we still eat ramen noodles because it tastes so good and it's just as easy to fix. I gave away all my damn ramen noodles. I don't eat that shit no more. I quit because I know it's not good for me. I know I don't eat certain things anymore, and I would much rather just eat me a damn piece of fruit than a damn hamburger because I love hamburgers, but I would rather eat fruit than something I love.
Well, yeah, I hear you, and I guess like I say, I look at it from the standpoint of I think in order to focus on any one thing, you got to be one. We're so many people, right? I mean, a Chinese back in the 1600s is still a Chinese today, right? We've been
going somewhere now. Go ahead.
I mean, who the fuck are we?
I've been trying to tell you all.
We've been Negro, colored, nigger, black, African American. I mean, who do you want?
In 1924, Plecker, I forget his first name, but his name Plecker. He came out with the immigration, the National Immigration Act, and it said that no matter what your race is in America, you can only be one or two things. You're going to either be colored or you're going to be white. And that was law. And that law has never been rescinded. So still in many of those old people's mind that we are colored. That means us, the Mexicans, or anybody else. That's why they try to all call us all minorities. But if you're beyond that, you have to make sure that they know you're no longer African American, that they know you're no longer nigger, you're no longer black, you're no longer colored, that you belong to a particular nation. And that's what we have failed to do. We,
But I think that has to come before this individual responsibility comes
well, you
on
can,
a large scale.
yeah, on a larger scale, yeah, but somebody got to start somewhere. We can keep pushing everything back, saying we got to do this first, or we got to do that first. We got to get to this level first, or we got to get to that level first. But that doesn't matter. Everything you want to do got to start somewhere. If you never start the things you want to start because you're not where you think you ought to be, then
Yeah.
you start where you at and you work from that point. You cannot wait to, well, when I get $20,000 in the bank, I'm gonna do this. Or when I get my next paycheck, I'm gonna do this. Don't that's the defeatist attitude, because you already defeated yourself for that damn goal that you setting, because you don't want to do it until you do this. You can't put things in front of your immediate goal. Like right now, your immediate goal is to prepare yourself mentally. What are you gonna say? Well, I can't prepare myself mentally until I lose my appetite for chitlins. No, you gotta prepare yourself mentally, and then don't eat the damn chitlins. You gotta be honest with yourself that these chitlins are killing me. You gotta be honest with yourself. This is why I eat chitlins, because it's our family tradition. We've eaten chitlins all the damn life, and why should I stop now? Because it ain't healthy for you.
Well,
And
the bet.
then when you go home, there's gonna be some chitlins on that stove. You got to prepare yourself that you're not gonna eat out that pot.
Well, the best thing that you've sent me so far that just trickle my intellect
What?
to like umpteenth degree is the Negro and the sardine. I'm still trying to digest that.
About that, I forgot.
Man, be careful. I got some smoked sardines in there now.
What about the Negro and the sardine? You remember
It's
that?
just the comparison between sardines and us as a people.
Mm.
In terms of Chuck said he finna eat some sardines. He don't even know what he's eating.
Mm.
Lucy,
They chop off the head and the tail. So what are you eating?
He don't know.
it's a fish. As far as I'm concerned, it's a fish.
It's all a sardine, right?
No, they named it a sardine. That's the commercial. Ain't no such fish named no sardine.
No, it's not. It's not. The Negro and the sardine. I forgot where I put it, but I would love to go over that right now. If you
Well, you said it says the political and social metamorphosis of African Moors made into American Negroes, blacks, colored people, and today's African Americans. NBC. And you compare that to the article you sent me compares that to a can of sardines and how there's no such fish as a sardine. There's different types of little fish.
Okay, gotcha.
And they cut off the head and the tail and package them up and sell them and call them sardines. Kind of like we've been.
You eat anchovies?
Huh?
You eat anchovies?
Yes. But a sardine, like you said, has no origin. There's
Right.
no such thing as a sardine, just like black has no origin.
Right. Black, Negro, colored.
None of that has no origin. That's all man-made, just like the sardine. It's
Just like a sardine.
So in order for us to be true of people, we have to come to terms with our identity first. What stopped? What changed because we got on a slave ship and got brought to America?
But to your point about individual responsibility.
What
but
stopped us being connected to that country there when they brought us to America? Nothing. We stopping ourselves because we allowed them to indoctrinate us into a system that will not allow us to connect with our ancestry. And many of us don't want to connect with our ancestry because we're afraid of what we might find out. We might find out that we are a true people and that we have land already, even if it's not physical. We have to understand that we are not Negro, colored, and black. Once
But to go back to what you talking about, individual responsibility, right?
yeah, gotta go
Who
back to the individual point.
who do you want to be responsible? The Negro, the colored, I mean,
None of
who you talking to?
even though you're
I
being
mean, because I've talked to black people. I said, man, why do you eat chitlins? They're bad for you. Hey, man, that's tradition.
yeah,
That's who we are.
that's your slave tradition. Your tradition was way before chitlins. You had a tradition
So if you're talking to a Negro, if you're talking to a colored man, if you're talking to whomever,
because there was nothing else to eat. You had a tradition before you started eating chitlins, and you had a tradition before you started eating pig feet. But you
yeah,
have abandoned that tradition, and because everything you knew when you came to this land, you abandoned it. You're in the condition you're in right now. But all you have to do is to reconnect to your ancestry, and then you'll figure out who
but
you
you make my point. That is an expensive reconnection, brother.
Right.
it's a start. You got to start. If you keep putting that excuse in front of you,
I'm not putting an excuse. I'm just telling you.
your
It's
children,
not an excuse. I mean,
grandchildren, the possibility of knowing that they are people other than Negroes and other than
right,
color. You still,
right,
everybody in our families right now feel like they are either African American or black, but
right.
it's so far from the truth. Truth. None of us are African American or black. We're Moors. Every black person that are a descendant of slaves to this day are Moors, but you have to reconnect. And listen,
Too expensive. Too expensive. Can't do it.
the only way they brought those 11 states back into the Union was for them to do the oath of amnesty. Now, if they had not done the oath of amnesty, they could not be citizens of the United States. You think just because the 14th Amendment was written, it was for us? Hell to the no. The 14th Amendment was written for the southern states to rejoin the Union. It had nothing to do with us. We can't come out of the slave plantation. I got to give you this here little piece. Let me tell you about it. We come off the slave plantation because President Abraham Lincoln promised the slave owners that for every liberated slave, you can receive up to $100. So every slave got released from the Mason-Dixie line south. Those slaves were released. So now every slave owner compiled a figure of how much the federal government owed them for liberating their slaves. So now, between all of this, the Emancipation Proclamation got passed or got proclaimed. And then now the United States come out and say, although we have liberated all slaves in the South and that slavery is now illegal, you cannot expect the federal government to pay you for it. You're not paying you for it. That's what the federal government said to the slave owners.
Because I'm sure you.
We got plenty of time. Let me give you this one more little piece. And now, what they did now, after they refused to pay the slave owners, then they said, we're going to admit you back into the Union. You done lost the Civil War, but we're going to bring you back. So in order for you to come back into the Union, you have to first show your homage to the United States by saying your oath of amnesty. And we only need 10% of your state to take the oath of amnesty. And that 10% are the leading people that were fighting against the Union. In other words, 10% of the Confederate Army, the highest ranking people, are the ones who had to take the oath of amnesty. Now, when they took the oath of amnesty, they went right back to their state, and they were the ones who were the governor on down. They took every position in that particular state. That is why slavery being outlawed by the Emancipation Proclamation, the 14th Amendment, only gave them the power to re-enslave us. So Abraham Lincoln got killed 3-4 days after that. So now you got Johnson in there. He don't give a damn about no slaves. So the white people that went back and took the oath of amnesty and went back to those states and took over, they put people right back where they wanted them, enslaved. Black people fear for their damn life.
No, I totally get it,
Mhm.
because in the white man's mind, I don't care if we're looking in the 1600s,
Mhm.
slavery in the West Indies, Dominican Republic, Haiti. How, if white people have convinced themselves of property, ain't that we're property, that we're inhuman, ain't no law gonna change that.
There's one white man said there's no law written for Negroes that a white
Right.
man has to respect.
Exactly.
And that's where we stood from that day to this one. So the Emancipation Proclamation, yes, it made it illegal to have slaves, but it also put us in a position to be abused, misused under the black codes, which was lit. The black codes was authorized not even a week after the Emancipation Proclamation.
Right.
They said they wasn't gonna pay them slave owners. They came out with the black codes, which put your ass in jail just for looking down the sidewalk or not getting off the sidewalk when white people were coming, for looking one in the eye, or even for looking a white man in the eye, for that matter. You
Right.
went to jail for that, and then when you went to jail, you were farmed right back out to the plantation that you just got off of, and
Yep.
that's how we ended up where we are. The United States ain't did a damn thing to help us to where we are now. We did this ourselves, just like we're gonna have to change these bad habits ourselves.
Ourselves. Yeah.
I mean, we don't figure it out and avoid the temptation and give ourselves the time to change, we are never going to change. We got to set goals and we got to create a plan to get away from eating chitlins every damn Thanksgiving. Why don't we create some dishes that's not harmful to us? And many of the dishes are harmful to us, but we can create a menu that's not going to kill us. We know chitlins going to kill us. We know pig feet gonna kill us. We know ham hocks gonna kill us. As much as I love ham hocks, we know that.
Right.
And I mean, I dread looking at my sister cooking ham hocks because she throws down on them damn things, and I love them, but I don't eat them because I know what they'll do to me.
Right.
The track no longer going to be conditioned to food to harm me, and because the pork is coming out of these manufacturers on today situation, I ain't eating none of that shit because all of it's contaminated with something. If I'll eat pork now, I'm not saying I'm not a pork eater, but only way I'll eat pork if it comes off of your farm, and I see you raised it on your farm and slaughtered it on your farm and cut it up on your farm. You know, it's so bad right now. I won't even eat fish out of Calaveras Lake because they got that damn nuclear plant right there by it, and the fish
Right.
contaminated. So why would I eat fish out of water that circulates through this damn plant and comes out of the plant with that's contaminated? I don't mind catching a fish, but I'm not gonna eat it.
Right.
Every fish I ever caught out that lake, which are probably up to thousands, I done caught a lot of fish out of that lake. I given away because I feel comfortable not eating that and letting my body have to do the work to figure it out. Just because it tastes good, that don't mean it is good. There's a lot of shit that tastes good that you already know ain't right for you. So we
Right.
got to identify that we got a problem and we got to start by fixing it ourselves. Nobody gonna fix that shit, but one person at a time. One at a time, Chuck. That's
So,
And
so
you-
it's up
You're
to
right.
one of us to change our individual selves.
to and then as we individually change, it starts to affect the community around us. So if every individual start changing themselves, like for instance, this store knows I'm going to be in that store every Wednesday to buy lotto tickets, and I've been doing this for the last 20 years. Every single Wednesday, I'm buying $10 worth of lotto tickets. This store
Right.
knows this, so I automatically stop going in there every Wednesday. So I skip 4 Wednesdays, 10 Wednesdays. Then I show back up in the store. They're going to say, well, where you been, Mr. Smith? Where you been? They're going to want to know where I am. They have missed my $10. But if we magnify that by 100 of us who decided individually to change the way we do things, then they start to feel the brunt of their presence in our community. We're letting them know we no longer will indulge in the processes you put out there for us.
They don't really care. This days and time, they don't really care.
We don't have to.
Because our money, our impact, it doesn't bother them at all.
You
There's
tell
so many other people out there spending money to support them. We can. I don't buy stuff. I told the dude today, I'm not gonna pay $8 for that damn thing. Take it back. I did. I do it individually.
got 20 people.
Well, that's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. We got to do.
If we got 20 people not to go to this same store again, you think they're gonna be there? Look,
No, we got to do massive. We got to do more than that.
you know what? Beacons closed. You know what? Beacons closed over there. Beacons closed because black people stopped buying shit out of there. That's why they closed.
Stop buying shit out of there.
Stopped. Beacons used to be the shit for the east side.
Yeah.
As time went on, we started to find cheaper and better quality clothes in different places. So
Yeah, well, Beacon, they pretty much patronize the pimping game, and the pimping game is out. Women ain't got no pimps no more, so that's out. And that's what they pretty much.
we
Hey,
stopped putting our money there, and we did exactly what we should have done, made their ass close. But look at that building. Sis. Nobody operating in that building anymore. That building's just sitting there. But once we ran them, I'm saying we ran them out the neighborhood because we didn't spend our money there no more. And that's going to happen one business after another.
So why don't we go there and grab that business now? Why don't we go there and grab that building and put a business in there for our people?
Well, that would be wonderful if we could do that, Chuck. But we got to, like I said, before we could move to the next level, we got to fix the ground floor, the foundation. We are the foundation. And if we fix our foundation ourselves, then we can step to the next level. Because
Well,
we
that sound like that.
will be mentally prepared to come together and share our knowledge and wealth, and we're mentally prepared to go in the same direction because we have avoided ourselves of those tempting situations, which is where we should be. And because we have avoided ourselves of those tempting situations, we put ourselves in the direct line of where God intends for us to go. And he's the one who's dictating what we're gonna have to do. We're not doing the things that we're doing what the white man wants us to do, to be honest with you. We are doing exactly what they set out for us to do. We're being distracted from this entertainment that we got. Any business, the only businesses that we got are hair salons, barbershops, clubs, and restaurants.
Yeah, businesses that make money. Make money. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Chuck.
Individually, yeah.
But we're bigger than that.
But we are bigger than that. Bottom line is, the trickle down economy doesn't work. Okay, it keeps the people in the bottom disenfranchised and out of the market. And one government don't fit us all.
Let me
Okay.
ask this, Chuck. Where do the disenfranchised spend the money that they do?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Where does the disenfranchised spend the money that they do have?
Well, they spend it in the stores in their community, with the white man or the Asians, whoever's in their community, offering them a service. But they're not spending it with us because we're not in the community.
Yes.
Other than hair shops and barbershops, hair salons and barbershops.
The reason I asked is if we can get the disenfranchised to stop giving them their money, that's going to cut their resources because that's what they.
Chuck, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Chuck. If you sold one of your dinners, could you sell something other than barbecue, healthy?
Yeah, I'm going to do a seafood boil on the 31st. You want to come up?
Is that healthy, Brother Boy?
I guess that if Chuck say it is, I don't know.
Well, it's got corn, it's got potatoes, it's got shrimp. Is shrimp good or not? It's got
Shrimp is
sausage. Yeah, you might have a problem with the sausage, but it is beef.
with shrimp and sausage. I don't know whether that's healthy for you.
Well, shrimp. I mean, what's unhealthy about a shrimp? It's froze around in the water. Oh, listen, it came from over there by the California dam. But look, no, it's healthy. I mean, I don't suck the head of the crawfish. I'll eat the tail, but I don't suck the head of the crawfish. And you open them up, that's some nasty looking shit in there.
I'm going to go down the last 3 or 4 things, and I'm going to just call them out. And if you want to speak on any one, just say something. Give yourself time to set up a plan, set goals and create a plan. Write the goals down, the plan down, and then replace unhealthy behaviors with healthy behaviors. Enlist support. I mean, you got to talk to somebody that's doing that you want, letting them know that these are your goals and this is what you're trying to do. And you got to get somebody to help you do it if you have.
So who you're targeting with that? Who are you targeting with that goal?
Well, you what?
Who are you targeting with that goal?
You're targeting a bad behavior that you want to change. And then once let's say you said, I ain't gonna buy lotto this week, and you don't buy lotto this week, then next week you reward yourself for doing that if it ain't nothing but just a smile saying, I did it. I said this is what I was going to do, and I did it. And the last part is don't give up. Don't give up on yourself, Chuck. Not you, Chuck, but anybody. Don't give up on yourself if you're preparing to do a change in your bad habits. Breaking bad habits requires strategic approach that combines self-awareness, commitment, and resilience. Start by identifying the triggers and cues that lead to the habit, whether it's stress, it's boredom, or certain environments. Understanding the root cause is crucial for effective change. Our identifying, replacing the habit with a healthier alternative. For instance, if the habit is stress eating, you eat ice cream when you get stressed. Find alternative ways to cope with stress, such as exercise or medications. Consistency is the key. Establish a routine and stick to it, even when faced with setbacks. Surround yourself with supportive individuals who can encourage and hold you accountable for what you're trying to do. And lastly, leverage the power of positive reinforcement. Celebrate small victories and milestones so you can stay motivated. It's essential to forgive yourself for slip ups and avoid self criticism. Everybody make mistakes, as negativity can impede progress. Lastly, be patient and persistent. Break down a bad habit, taking time and effort, but with dedication and perseverance. Lastly, change is achievable.
That's 3 Lashley's.
I know every step forward, no matter how small,
But you know,
progress. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Chuck.
Okay. One thing you said there that caught my ear when you said the environment. The environment is a big part, a big key, because if we live in different types of, do not have the same resources and opportunities that somebody living up the scale has.
So,
okay, so you can't compare their struggle to what they're struggling with up the scale.
Big house. You're comparing the slaves with the big house.
No. Come on, I'm comparing the haves versus the have-nots.
It's the same. You're comparing Mr. Billy.
I'm not a slave. I don't got it because people have greedy people take more than they share.
It's 2 different entities. You cannot compare the 2.
The environment is a big cause of why a lot of people are still suffering.
You can't.
We had a fair and equal opportunities for everybody that cost them so much,
Why
we
you
can have a better world.
blame people with success stories? Why you want to blame them for people for the disenfranchised?
But see, because God gave man a mission. He
So-
told him, "You are the
Blaming
provider and the protector." And if the men and can't protect the women and the children in our culture, shame on you.
you are blaming the haves for the have-not problem.
And you know what's funny? You know what? It's two things I hear. One is, Brother Bay, break bad habits and your recommendations. That almost read like a PTSD plan.
Okay,
Like black people got PTSD,
we do.
and so you need all these supports and you need all this, you know. And what Chuck is saying, okay, brother, if you got a decent life and a decent income and a different, it's kind of like the whole argument between the slaves that worked in the plantation that had advantages. They was a little bit smarter. They dressed a little bit nicer because they had the hand downs. This debate has always been in terms of our community and how do we come together and agree that what we're selling is the right thing for everybody. So those are the two points. Because when you was describing eating, drinking, language, medication, that's a PTSD plan. So not only do we have PTSD, we got PTSD in our relationships. We need a every black person, the middle class, the no class, the bottom of the well, needs to be on the same PTSD plan. And that's what you got here. And that's what he's saying, Chuck. You know, so it ain't like for only people that got, because PTSD, if you was in a battlefield, I don't care where you came from, PTSD works the same way. So what Brother Bay is saying, this is a PTSD plan to make us healthy. And if we follow this plan and
if we suffer
consistent, what I'm saying is, in the absence of nothing, this is important. This is really important.
Okay, so can we write that up and submit it to our government and tell them to take care of us because we suffer from PTSD just like any military veteran does?
I mean, I don't think that's beyond the range. Somebody needs to take care of us. Somebody needs to pay for the care.
Then that could be an action that we as a people should be able to get behind because we can all benefit from it.
I mean, the government already kind of halfway does it. I mean, for people at the bottom of the well, they get money from the government for nutrition programs and stuff.
Yeah, that's just to keep us. That's just to appease us and to keep us, survival.
I'm just
survival saying, that's a safety net. I want more.
I'm just saying, what are you saying? What you're saying is not out of the ordinary. I'm saying that, but Brother Bay has produced a plan that we can share with anybody and everybody, politicians, government officials. He described it the way he described it. It's a little bit differently. I just described it as a PTSD plan because that's what it sounds like. How do we get well? And that's what this does. Now, I don't think that we can do it I don't think that we can do it by ourselves. I think, and that's what government comes in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's a good plan, and we need to get behind it as a culture. Tell our government, you need to clean up what you messed up. We didn't ask to come over, Chris Strasser. We're not immigrants.
But until then,
And our people, a lot of our people are still suffering. Even though the ones at the top, they still suffering too. The ones that's making the money and got up to the top, they still wearing a mask. They still suffering.
what do we do until the government takes hold of the plan?
What we do when the government takes over the plan?
Until the government takes hold of the plan, what are we to do?
Well, you know where I'm coming from on that. I think we got to help ourselves, and the ones that got the resources and the tools to do that need to reinvest into the greatest resource that we have. Our greatest resource is what?
Ourselves.
Ourselves. And if we don't invest into ourselves, into our people, then we need to shut the fuck up. You know, simple as that. And that's what we're talking about. And I've asked for nothing more. I've asked for $1 a month from every black person in this country. Raise $4-5 million a year to reinvest in Black America. Reinvest in the black farmers and the black ranchers to grow our food. Build some, like you said a few minutes ago, build them a processing plant on their platform where they kill and process the food and bring it to the market, to our market. I'm in the church. I went back to church for one reason. I just kind of figured it out. But I went back to church for a reason. Healthcare. Healthcare is a very dangerous process right now. So I'm going back to the AME church and say, hey, look, can we start a movement to build AME memorial hospitals across America so black people can go and be taken care of by someone that they can trust? Because I don't trust America no more. And we need to let white America know that. We don't trust you. I'm not going to deal with you only if I have to. But other than that, we're working so we can stop putting money in the oppressor's pocket. When we start taking our money out of his pocket and putting it back into our culture, and the way we do that, we got to get up there and play hardball with them in their markets. We got to bring the money back out of the stock market. Is what we need to attack them. I've said a couple of times, let's do a self-imposed reparation. They can't control it. Because if we go up there and have the power to say, I want $1 million worth of, say, green energy stock under whatever company is selling the green energy. Green energy is a hot tamale right now. Any kind of energy is a hot tamale.
Yes, this. Do you know any individual that have been able to do that for
I can't hardly hear you. Do I know any individual? What?
Has it ever happened before? Has anybody ever done?
I can't. I'm not getting the whole question.
I said,
has it ever happened before?
Yeah. Has anyone ever done what you're talking about?
No, I don't think they have. But I ain't the first one to talk about this and to say this. I'm not the first one that did it. Malcolm X told us back in his time what we needed to do. I'm just trying to carry on his dream. He said then, stop complaining about what you ain't got, going to the white man talking about you need him to give you a job. Create a job for yourself. Create an industry for yourself. Do like the immigrants did and put your nickel, pennies, and dimes together and create a business and create an industry for yourself.
You ain't gonna create no business. You ain't gonna create no industry with nickels and dimes.
Well, that's just a saying. That's why I'm asking for hundreds and dollars in the hundreds. If we put our monies together, we can create an industry and we can start putting those people in the well. We can put them to work, working for us, and treat them with some dignity and respect, and they'll work for you.
The reason I wanted to do Breaking Bad Habits today is because we have to start from within. Because I can't expect nobody in the world to help me be who I want to be. If I don't do it for myself, it will not happen.
I'm not going to expect nobody in the world to do nothing for me either. I'm just going to do it for me, for my mind, for what I'm doing. I'm doing God's work,
Mm.
taking care and providing for His children.
You know, I hear that all the time. Every preacher in town will tell
I'm
you.
not a preacher. I'm not a preacher.
I know
I'm
you
a
telling you that there are 10,000 other people out there saying the exact same thing.
well. Do they? I guess they believe in what God said.
No, they just talking.
No, and you know what? I provide. I do what I can do as an individual.
All
I
of it.
do. That's one of the ways I pay my due, my tithe.
Hey Chuck, you remember back in I had just came to Texas, but it was back in 1987. And what was that name of that bank up in Dallas? It was a black bank that shut down.
There was one shut down the other week.
SunTrust Bank. Nobody came to that bank's rescue, and those black folks lost a lot of black folks lost a lot
You
of
had
money.
over $100,000 you lost.
Right? If you was over $100,000, you lost whatever you had. So I know you're trying to start an organization and get black people to contribute, but there's a lot in black people's head, you know, of things that went bad. And like I say, I applaud because we do have to tackle this one little issue at a time to restore who we are. Trust in one another. Because what you're talking about is trust in one another.
Yeah, we have to reveal that trust.
But in order to
Treat each
have
other with
trust,
dignity.
you got to be alive. So I think if you ain't alive, all the others is
It doesn't matter.
doesn't matter. If we ain't around,
You gotta preserve
So-
yourself first in order
because
to grow.
because like I said, our mind, body, and soul was stolen from us. Mind, body, and soul. And there has not been an acknowledgement in Europe or in America of that thievery and any corresponding resources to address that theft.
All right, we've been on quite a while, so Claude, one of y'all can go ahead and close the statement.
I think I just said what I wanted to say about our mind, body, and soul, and that's never been addressed. That was stolen from us, and it was done masterfully,
A work of art.
and every governmental institution and everybody did that to us. And so, trying to tackle mind, body, and soul one piece at a time, it's gonna take some time.
Got to start somewhere. Though, right?
But starting with life, I think it's a good place to start. Because without life, none of the other stuff we talk about matters. So I'll just leave it right there.
Well, only thing I can say is that we talk a lot, and we talk about what we need to do, and I think we just get back not so much to the Bible or religion or anything like that. Just look at God and what He told man to do. Protecting the earth, protecting His creation, including His people. And we look at it that way, and those people that are struggling, that are suffering, that's where we get our blessings from. We help those type of people. We don't help those people. We don't get those blessings by ignoring those people that are struggling, that are suffering. We don't get those blessings when we get and take and spend our money with the wealthy already. We got to create our own wealth. We have to create the bubble up economy. And that's what I'm trying to do with my African American Capital Reserve Fund. And by the way, talking about the divide, I've been paying attention to right here on us, with us. I see both of you well organized men. You got your founders of the GAP Consulting Group, and you got the you got the title of Breaking Bad Habits, but you got the BNN News. But Chuck over here just got his name. How do I put my company name up under my name?
We'd have
See,
to do
that's you that left me out. That's how we feel sometimes. That's how the people in the well feel. We've been left out on our own.
some people ignore the elephant in the room all the time. And you can't blame the room for hosting the elephant. The elephant is there for everybody to notice. And when you in the room and don't notice the elephant, then you got blinders on. You can see that this is an effort for everybody that listens, watches, or participates to move to another level. And you can do it. It's all, like I said before, it's up to the individual. If you want to move forward, then the opportunity is there. If you want to stay the same, the opportunity is there. If you want to regress, the opportunity is there. But you can continue to put out information day after day after day and year after year, and nothing changes. Then who do you look at and say, why has nothing changed? You got to look inward. It ain't my fault that you ain't got your title up there.
Well, Harriet Tubman said when she brought them out of slavery, she said, I could have freed a whole bunch more of them if they just known they was free. But now that we know we're free, how are we going to move forward?
This is the same situation. Here, I feel like this is what I feel like. I'm here doing exactly what Harriet Tubman trying to do. Go into my culture, tell people that we're not this, we're not that. Let's go to where we need to be. And people looking at me like, I ain't got time for all that shit. I ain't doing that. But I'm giving you the facts. I'm telling you that I can back up every single thing.
So where you trying to take us though?
Here. And if you don't know,
Harriet was taking us to freedom. Where you trying to take us?
What sense does it make me trying to tell you now when I've been saying the same thing for the last 10 years?
Apparently it's not registering well enough for me to take a strong enough interest in it to make a move.
I only got one responsibility, and that is to know that I have provided the way out. And if I know I've provided the way out, I can speak well, because I know for a fact that I have put the information on the table.
Yeah, we got to do more to put information out there, brother. We got to do more. We got to do like every other culture. We got to invest money into our people, put them to work, treat them with respect and dignity, and they will make you a wealthy man.
You decide what you
do. Ain't doing that.
Every individual got the responsibility.
And nothing gonna change.
What they choose to do. And everybody can't do it the same way. My input is a certain way. Your input is a certain way. Claude input is a certain way. And we all contribute. But not if we all trying to do the same thing, then two of us is going to die. You have to do what you feel is just like everybody else. And with individuals, with that doctrine that you just got in your working habits will give you an insight to become unified. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. You cannot get to unification without breaking some of your bad habits. That's what it boils down to. And then once those are broken, then you can pull it together. But before you break the bad habit, then you're just going around in circles, which is what many of our attempts have been. But you cannot say you can't go back last year and look at our recordings on YouTube and say that we have not communicated what needs to take place. It's there. So with that, we're here with the Black News Network, the real voice of Black USA, broadcasting the news from a Black perspective. I do not own the rights to the music, but I do own the rights to what I say. We ask that you go to YouTube and subscribe to our page and we ask that you go to Facebook. We ask that you go to Instagram and make comments and definitely become part of the team. There's a book that I wanted to sponsor today, and that book was written by Mario Silas. And the nature or the name of that book is The Long Struggle for Justice, The Legacy of Racism in America. And it was written by a local San Antonian, Mario Silas. So if you get an opportunity to get this book, please put your hands on it and go through it and look at some good information. On the cover, you'll see George Floyd, I Cannot Breathe. With that, I thank you so much for becoming, ooh, that was a loud drop. I thank you so much for becoming a member and a subscriber to the Black News Network. Thank you for joining.